All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the second episode of SynthCast. We have two new co-hosts, Cody and Momo.
Hi.
We're gonna start by introducing Cody and Momo. So, whoever wants to start, you can introduce yourself.
Let me dive in really quick and say that Robin could not be here today because she was busy. So, yeah.
Right. Robin was a little busy, so we brought on two more co-hosts. And Cody or Momo, if you want to start, we can introduce yourselves.
I'll start.
All right.
Hi, I'm Cody. I am also, you might know me as Mellun on YouTube. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them. And I do a lot of covers, and I'm mostly known for my Vocaloids, but I'm gonna start moving covers onto my main channel. And I can't really pick favorites, to be honest. I love like every synth that's out there, to be honest.
Love that energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just anything, really. I just really have trouble picking favorites, but yeah, and I'm really excited to be on here.
Yay!
And hi.
I just have. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I love your covers, Mellun, and also the soft defoco that you made. I would love. Okay, sorry, Mellun. Sorry, Momo. You can go.
Okay. Oh, hi. My name is Momo. I go by she, her. My favorite vocal is unapologetically See You. I love them all, but like it's that mom who says she loves everyone equally, but there's obviously a favorite. See You's that favorite.
Did you say see you or ZU?
Both, but see you.
Oh, because I love ZU too. He's so cute.
I'm praying he'll get a vocal. He's so popular in the Korean fandom. Even now, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I thought that ZU was just like a gender bent version of CU.
He is, but he's officially recognized by the company that made CU. So
He's in a lot of
the
promos
official
with
artist
Cuckoo.
behind CU made like an illustration of ZU, and everyone went hog wild as soon as it happened.
Yeah, Kuim knocked it out of the park. I didn't care much about him, and then Kuim drew him, and it was like, oh, that's my boy. But yeah, I draw on Twitter. I'm a Vocaloid fan artist, and I produce music on YouTube once in every like 5 years.
Oh, I forgot to mention I'm also a music producer, but I haven't published many yet, but I have a lot in works right now.
I'm excited. Momo has drawn every single Vocaloid, so definitely check out Momo's
Oh my
art.
gosh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't have wrists anymore, but it was worth it.
Momo, it was yours, right, where like you had drawn everyone, and then Charlie came out and you just saw like Charlie taking up like half the image.
That was hysterical.
Angry.
I literally slapped him on. I was like, freaking Yamaha, are you doing this to me now? Oh, I was so angry.
I loved it so much. I laughed for like an hour.
He's cute, but there's like there's this like deep-seated hatred I've like buried down just because of the spite from Yamaha betraying me.
So yeah, definitely go check out their I think we're gonna definitely put their description in the description where you can find them, so go check them out. So what are we gonna talk about today? We're gonna be talking about Synth V, Vocatone, Tsuru, Maki.
Yeah,
All right.
basically what we're gonna do today, large in part, if not entirely, is that we are recording this not too long into the new 2021 year, and a lot happened in the synth community during the holiday season at the end of 2020. And we are going to like spend the entire episode talking about it because it was a lot.
Yeah. So in the last episode we talked a lot about Vocaloid, but we're a synth SynthCast. So we're trying to talk a lot more about synth in general, not just Vocaloid. So luckily, a lot happened in the synth community that isn't Vocaloid, but there is some Vocaloid news, so that's good.
Yeah.
So,
but it's funny because there's actually not that much Vocaloid. There's more news about anything else.
It's a lot compared to usual. So
yeah.
Yeah. You will hear a little bit about Vocaloid, but one of the pieces of Vocaloid news is gonna be about how something is going to potentially not be Vocaloid any longer, if that means anything.
Right.
That's the Vocaloid news. So do we want to start talking about like Saki
Sure.
AI?
Yeah.
Sure.
I love her. That's what I'll say.
If you didn't know who Saki is, Saki was like, I think originally she was released kind of as like a beta voice bank on the SynthV online website thing. Which it was just she was originally like free to use, anyone could use her, but it was kind of just like a thing that she had no name at the time. She was just a female Japanese vocal, but then later when the actual full SynthV 2.0 came out, she was given an actual release, and she eventually was released announced for SynthV AI, and she's currently available for download for anyone who has her like regular voice bank for SynthV 2 until June, I believe.
So basically, the gist here is that AI, in terms of synth, it is something that is going to be in, or already is in some capacity, in SynthV and in Chevio. And basically what it is certain voice banks will be like applied to the AI concept, and then when you are making your vocals in your song, the AI will sort of like figure out some of the stuff that you're trying to do based on how the vocal is moving and do a little bit of the tuning for you. You can still edit that tuning afterward, but it does a little bit of the work for you ahead of time. It makes the job easier for the producer, software user, whatever. And Saki has gotten a lot of attention recently, and I hope this isn't an incorrect statement because it definitely feels this way. It seems to me like Saki is the first vocal to really show off the AI technology, and she's doing a phenomenal job of it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think she's kind of really the first vocal to be showing off SynthV's capabilities, but there's been a lot of AI synths in the recent past, like for example Neutrino and NNSVS. If you haven't heard of that, that's kind of more of a something that not a lot of people know about, but it's completely AI based. But Neutrino does actually a lot more tuning than anything else, to be honest, like because you can't really tune in it.
Yeah.
It just but
Let me lightly rephrase that then. It seems to me Saki is the one who is showing off the AI technology in terms of SynthV.
Yes,
Right.
Okay.
yeah. And it's very promising so far.
I feel like SynthV is a lot easier to use, like user friendly, because I tried to use Neutrino and it's just like, what? I could.
Yeah, Neutrino is very confusing.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Kiritan.
Oh, me too. She's so cool.
Isn't she
I have
also moving to SynthV though? Or
I'm
it's
not
either
sure.
SynthV or
I
Chevio.
actually-
She's moving to something.
I don't remember.
She was
Hold on.
moved to
But-
something else. Like, she already has a voice bank on something other than VoiceRoy,
yeah,
and
exactly
I
what
can't
I was
remember what it
saying.
was.
Well, she has UTAU voice thing. That was from a long time ago.
It was something
though.
else, though,
But-
where it's like
Yeah, it's on-
you
Yeah.
sing or someone sings over it, and then her voice is overlaid.
Oh.
And so
Voidal.
Was it Voidal?
Well, I know she does have a Voidal voice bank, but that's not technically for singing. It's not. But like, I think there like is really something else that she is on.
AI
that isn't
something.
Voidal. It's something AI. I don't
Really?
remember well.
I remember hearing somewhere that she was moving to SynthV or something. I'm not sure though. But
Neutrino and
Oh.
Savio AI.
Yeah, she's moving to Chevio.
oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she is moving to Chevio AI. Okay, yeah.
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
wasn't another one of her friends announced for Neutrino? Like, I
Wasn't
don't.
that their older sister?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Itako, I
Itako.
think? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Itako.
I don't think we got a clear answer from the first episode when we asked like what's happening to Neutrino. So we don't know. We don't know.
I think they're still I think it seems to me like AHS is very, very much just not really like trying to stay in one thing and just trying to capitalize on as much as possible. So I don't think it's like Kiritan is moving to Chevio and you can ignore Neutrino now. She's just like gonna be on both. That's the impression I'm getting. It seems like just by the fact that they're putting a lot of their vocals on like Chevio and Synth V, they're just trying to do multiple things at once.
Yeah, giving me very much Magninana stuff.
Oh, Magninana.
Speaking of which, AHS moving to Synth V.
Yeah. So the first episode we recorded even like I think a week before Thanksgiving. So we have a lot to catch up on. So yeah, AHS moving to Synth V. How are we feeling?
There's a lot to unpack about that actually. Yeah.
I'm so happy.
If you didn't know, their new vocal, their new vocal Rika, is being teased recently. Well, like she's confirmed already that she's in the Synth V, but there's like currently demos for her, and she's also getting a Chevio talk, voice bank, which is exciting.
It is. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's very exciting. She's one of the shining examples of AHS moving on to Synth V and Chevio, and it's real. I think it's really, really exciting because it's sort of just. It seems to me some people have a preference as to one engine over the other, and AHS is just like, what if we do both?
It's so consumer friendly, so sweet.
Yay! But she's gonna be AI capable, right? Like she's gonna have AI capabilities, right? She's one of the AI.
She's at least in Chevio talk. I know that she's going to be, yes, but I'm not sure about Synth V. I've not heard about that.
Okay. So yeah.
On top of AHS, are we done talking about? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! You can go. I didn't know where I was going with that, so you can go.
Oh, okay. On top of that, if we're talking about cool AHS things that AHS is doing, the one that I'm probably the most excited about, Tsurumaki Maki, is getting Synth V and Chevio banks that are going to have both English and Japanese for both. And on the Chevio engine, she's also going to have a talk engine for both.
They went off with her. They went off.
Yeah, it's literally crazy. Like, I am actually still reeling about that announcement. Like, it's crazy. And I'm still excited to even hear what Chevio AI English talk is going to sound like, and English Chevio singing. Like, it's just like there's so much that she's going to have. And she's honestly deserves it because I have been wanting her to get a singing vocals for so long.
Exactly. I've been saying it. She has a guitar. Let her sing.
Yeah.
I will.
I hope her bandmates from her game. Have you heard about them? I hope they get vocals sometimes because like there's a game that they were originally from, and
Really?
she's got like bandmates.
Is it an app or was it like a PS Vita?
It was an app. Yeah. It was
app?
I don't remember. It was like band something. I don't know. But let me try to find it.
Does it still exist or has it been taken away?
I don't know.
The only synth games I remember are like all the things Ia has been on, Project 575, and then like Vocadole. Those are the only ones I remember. By the way, I miss Vocadole.
Ugh, it was such a tragedy.
Such a tragedy.
We should have done more.
Yeah.
They should have made it English.
Jam Band. That's what it's called. Jam Band. She's got 4 other bandmates, and they're all females. But
oh, cute.
Yeah, she's the guitarist. She's the solo guitar, or the main guitarist, and then there's like 2 other guitarists. I don't really know the technicalities for that. But then there's also a drummer and a keyboard player.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't know their names. I used to remember one of their names, but I forgot it.
This is diving ahead a little bit, and we can come back to it, but I just want to put it down there as a topic that I want to talk about earlier, because we're talking about bandmates to establish characters. Give Lily's Animove friends banks. Give them banks.
I know. I was talking about this earlier this week. I mean, oh my god.
They've been dead for too long, man.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
I was gonna mention the announcement with Maki, how they're announcing the English. The way they announced it was amazing because they had her voice actor speak it in English. That was crazy and it sounded so good. And that is actually like so exciting because it's so promising how good it's gonna sound because her English was flawless.
I know. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so good with English. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Maki is coming in here onto 2 engines starved of English voice banks and said, I am going to give to the populace, and we are so thankful for it.
Yeah.
I can't believe he just disrespected Ia English and Eleanor like that.
Okay, when I say starved, I don't mean entirely absent. I just mean there is very little so far.
My fingers are so crossed for Maki because I was so disappointed with Eleanor. The only reason I bought Synth V2 was to use Eleanor V2. And then 9 months passed and I'm sitting here with this $80 program that I haven't touched because I don't have my daughter back.
Yeah, I know.
It's so frustrating.
I'm also
Sorry, I'm just in grief still.
It's okay. I can't wait for Eleanor's full voice bank, but it's still been nothing, no news about her. By the way, the other day I saw people talking about like, wow, now apparently Chevio is gonna have English capabilities because like with Maki, and I was like, hello, what do you mean? English has been here for like 3 years, and y'all said nothing.
I remember everyone being stoked. I remember her demo being insane, and then she was released and just like disappeared into the void.
Okay,
The only songs they perform in her concerts are the demos.
Yeah.
Where are her originals? Donde está?
I love Ia English to absolute pieces, and it really looks like from some of the... I don't think they first place has said it specifically. If they have, I just missed it. But I would be really, really excited because it looks like with some of the advertisements they did around like Flower and Yukari coming to Chevio, that it looks like Ia Japanese is coming to Chevio too. And I'm like, yay, she gets both languages on one platform.
I hope that I hope Ia is getting a Japanese on Chevio. But I was gonna say, I think they're also gonna have. I've heard samples of Ia English and Chevio AI. I swear I heard it. So I think that's coming too.
They released those like demonstrations of like betas in 2018. With
yeah,
her
that was a long
English
time
and
ago.
her. Yeah, I know. That's why I was so surprised. I was like, "Is this a dead project?" And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, bam! Everyone's Chevio AI.
Yeah,
It just came out of nowhere.
No one AI, everyone AI. Okay.
Yeah.
Although I know first place has to do everything for their main girl Ia first, but I will still stand by the fact I will riot if One doesn't get an English.
I know.
Yeah.
I was really curious about that. Yeah, I was wondering were they going to do it.
I have purposefully abstained from buying One's voice bank because I'm waiting for her Chevio AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll probably also buy the AI, but I'm gonna be 100% real with you guys. Her like Chevio starter pack is really pretty.
It is
I bought it
gorgeous, yeah.
mostly because it's just really pretty.
We talked about this last episode. I went to go look at it, and you guys are right. It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
Speaking of Chevio, and we already said this, Flower and Yukari getting voice banks for Chevio is so exciting.
I'm still
It's so
waiting.
exciting.
Flower is like doing so well with producers within the last 2 years.
Especially in Japan. Yeah, especially in Japan. There's a lot of producers that have been using her in Japan for the last couple of years. But the thing is, okay, she recently, she got a AI talk, Flower, and the thing is that a lot of people dislike Flower's tone in Vocaloid, and so they were hoping that her AI talk would be in Chevio, but no, they have confirmed that her Vocaloid tone is going to be for the Chevio. But I personally disagree because I think Flower is really the rock female vocal that we've needed for so long.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can
right.
dislike that. That's like what made her unique was her voice.
The thing is though is that Vocaloid did not handle it well.
You mean like in terms of quality of the voice bank itself, or just the way that
Like,
she
there's just-
pronunciates? Ooh, how she pronounces things.
It's kind of both, because the engine never really used that sort of like vocals before, honestly. Like, there was not that many. It's just the way that her voice works. I get like her voice sounds. It just sounds kind of strange in Vocaloid sometimes.
Yeah, I own her. Yeah, I've used her a couple times. She's kind of, yeah, but like I love her so much.
No, yeah, she's literally one of my favorites.
So would you say
And
she's not like
I guess I
really
could say.
user friendly? Is what you're saying? Is she's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's hard to use. She's hard to make sound good. That's true.
Well, I think that's sort of the case with a lot of rock vocals. Like, I know, like,
Yeah.
Cole, as from experience of having Cole, she is a challenge. But
Kola is honestly not even hardly a rock vocal, to be honest. Like, she's just really, like, not even that powerful, but I love her.
she's
I
power
feel like-
nose.
Yeah, she's like very solid. She has like a very solid voice.
Yeah, she's solid, but she's not powerful.
Right.
See, I guess that's where I'm not entirely like I'm a little confused in terms of Vocaloid wasn't made for that, but then there's like Mako Power, Kagamine Ren, you got Miku Solid and Vivid. I mean, there have been strong voice
Yeah.
banks before. So my question is where's that disconnect with Flower? Like where did they go wrong with Flower that she just doesn't fit the engine as well as other quote
There's,
unquote
like-
strong banks do?
There's like two or three possibilities of why that happened. It's mostly because Vocaloid manipulates vocals in like ways that like it's kind of weird how the engine works. So it mostly varies like voice to voice how it manipulates that voice. So because I don't know if you know what timbre is, but every voice has its own timbre and stuff. So maybe her voice provider's timbre really didn't like flow well with Vocaloid because of just I think Chevio, we haven't heard any samples for Flower or Chevio yet, but I think Chevio might be able to handle it well, because I don't know if even Chevio regular Minato sounds really good, and he's a power vocal.
Right, I love
So-
Minato.
I love Minato so much.
Yeah.
She's my
I
favorite.
just bought him recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Yes,
expect a cover from you with Minato.
Please.
I've done like a little. I did a little sample for a medley that I am gonna release.
I am expecting a cover from you. I love it so much.
All right.
the one thing, and this is completely, I want to stress this to anyone that's watching, that I have no reason to think that this is something that they are doing, and that this is completely me hypothesizing. I want to make that absolutely clear when I make this statement. Because, like, one of the things that happened with Flower's release in the Vocaloid fandom that caught me a little bit off guard, or, like, surprised me, I guess that's probably a better way to phrase it, is how popular she ended up, like, in the Western fandom singing in English.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Synthia
yeah.
Synthia and Chevio has started doing a good number of like, or like at least Maki showing up, like being like, hey, I'm gonna do Japanese and English, and I'm like, I wonder if they would be interested in doing that with Flower now
I
that
was-
they're seeing the Western
I was gonna
fandom
say that.
popularity.
I was gonna say that.
The only thing that we don't know is if her voice provider is capable
Right,
of doing
yeah.
it.
That's fair.
That's the first
And
thing,
also,
yeah.
like, and not only that, we don't even have any way of checking that because we don't know her voice provider. Her voice provider is currently unrevealed, and we don't know if it ever will be revealed. But like, I do hope she gets an English voice bank and for Chevio, I think that's actually a really exciting thought. But there's no proof of that
Yeah.
happening.
There's no, I want to make that abundantly clear that I have no proof to be like, this is a thing that's happening. That is pure
Right.
speculation. I want to
It
make that clear.
better. It better.
Yeah, but yeah, like with her popularity, it's like making her sing in English, I guess you could call it. It's like, I think there is a market for that, definitely.
Well, there's the thing though. So there's two kind of hurdles that they need to jump over, and the first one is, can she sing in English? That's the big one.
Yeah.
But the second one
Yeah.
is there a market? And I don't think that we're entirely sure that there is, because if you look at English Vocaloids, we love them to death, the 5 that we have, but there is a steady history that they don't sell well, or that they don't sell enough, or the only ones I can think of that really did well was Ivana and Dex and Dinah, and the rest
Yeah.
kind of appeared
flopped.
You know? I mean, Ruby could have been awesome, and then the marketing disaster happened. Yohyo Lloyd, there were so many voice banks that had potential, and for some reason, we just didn't follow through. And so my concern is with Eleanor V2, when we get her, how many people are going to buy her? And with Tsurumaki Maki, that's going to be the test, is how many of us are going to buy Maki English to prove, how many people have to buy it to prove there's a market, you know? That's why I'm like, I want to buy like 20 to be like, yes, give us more. I want to pad the numbers so that we can have flower English or potentially, you know.
That's a great segue because I want to make this abundantly clear to everyone that is like watching right now. Please, if you want like English vocals to do well on Synthv and Chevio, buy the hell out of Tsurumaki Maki when she comes out, because that will tell people to know, that will tell the companies that English is a market that they can invest in. And I very do much think that is that is a correct statement, and that if Maki English does well, that could be a sign to like say Flowers developers and be like, hey, maybe we could do an English bank or something, hypothetically.
I mean, when Synth V, the first one came out, Eleanor happened. I remember seeing Eleanor for the first time and thinking, what the heck is that? No one's gonna buy that. But like her voice was really cool, you know, but I didn't buy it. And then Synth V2 came out, so I wanted her because, oh my gosh, her voice was excellent. But it's, again, she appeared. She was marketed a little bit, but then she dropped off the face of the earth. And then Quadimension just freaking came in like a train with 5 voice banks, and then Mushin, and then Minus. China basically runs Synth V right now.
Honestly, that's kind of the same thing I felt like. It was just like Synth V was so dubious at the time because of like how the lack of vocals. Like we had Genbu Light and Eleanor Light and Aiko just kind of appeared, and then nothing for like a year and a half, and then all of a sudden Quadimension, bam, 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 you know, like everywhere, just vocals Chinese everywhere. So that's. I was also gonna say the thing that Momo said about how English vocals tend to not sell well. It also depends on how well the voice bank is executed, and also especially with non-native speaking English voice banks, they tend the more they sound like English, I think the more they sound less like Japanese accented, I think it would sell a lot better. And with Maki right now, as we can tell, Maki's accent is great, so I think she will. I think I have a hunch that she will start selling pretty well in the English market, but we still have to get to see about that. And they're still even developing those voice banks too, because they're still doing crowdfunding for those.
See, they talked about Zunko English Voiceroid.
Oh,
and so now I'm sitting here, fingers crossed about Tohoku Zunko English Synth V.
Right?
Just in the back of my mind, I'm just kind of praying, because she's one of my favorites. And I was excited that they kept updating her. And now that AHS is moving to Synth V, which I'm like, I still buy Vocaloids, but Synth V is my bread and butter now. It's just such a superior software, in my opinion. And I'm like, just AHS, bring everybody. Give me Miki Synth V. Give me Miki English. Kyoto, Yuki, Yukari. I was so mad when they put Yukari on Chevio. Alright, this is going to be mean, but I'm very biased against Chevio. And I really hope that they just destroy it with their voice banks. Because when I bought Iya English, I bought her when she came out. It was my first time using Chevio. And the program kept crashing. And it was impossible to tune. I couldn't, as a first time user, I just couldn't figure it out. And it was so frustrating. I sold it to a friend of mine for like $80, the whole package, because I couldn't do it. And ever since, I just had a poor taste in my mouth. And it was weird looking, like the colors. It was just really... I wasn't expecting like a Vocaloid copy, but I wasn't expecting rainbows. I mean, Chevio said gay rights, which I respect, but it was just so strange to look at. And Chevio AI, I'm just worried about, because the engine noise bothered me with Chevio 1, and I was having trouble as a new user getting used to it. So when I saw Yukari and Iya were not going to Synth V, I felt like I'd been stabbed in the back.
This is this is like an opinion that sort of gets like tossed around in the fandom a little bit, and I think it just sort of ends up to like personal tastes, because I've heard a lot of people have like one of their grievances with Chevio be that like, oh, the engine noise, and I'm like, I don't hear it.
Really?
I just personally don't hear it.
They sound kind of compressed in comparison to Synth V. They both have, I guess you call it compression or noise, but with Chevio 1 it's very prevalent. With the AI it's not.
To me, I kind of hear like it sounds breathy to me is how I explain it. Like it sounds breathy, and if you mess with the dynamics inside the program, it literally, you can hear white noise in the background of the engine. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Although I've heard Chevio AI, I've heard some of the teasers, and they're doing a pretty good job of yeeting that out of there.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say Chevio has been really improving. Like, okay, it's on CS7 right now, which is like the newest version of Chevio 1, and the interface, the bugs and stuff like that have mostly kind of been gone for a long time now. And English, I've been using on my free time, and I really love it. I think if English, like I said earlier, she's gonna probably be moving to Chevio AI, so I think she's gonna have a lot more rep soon because of that. Because I know that Chevio English in Chevio didn't really sell well because of just all that engine noise.
And I really wonder about the marketing too. Like, who was she for? Because I don't remember seeing a whole lot of marketing to the West except for those demos on YouTube. But then you go to the product page and everything's in Japanese, you know. And I just had a lot of questions about that. Are you going to make it more English friendly? Because again, we're starving. We want vocals. You know, if they give me IA English on Chevio AI, I'll buy it. Like after hearing the new demos and stuff, and what warmed me up more to Chevio AI was Rika having that option and them talking about kind of making it for everybody. And so it's kind of like with consoles. I have a PlayStation and a Switch, and then they release an Xbox version, and I love the game so much I almost want to buy an Xbox, but I can't quite convince myself to. But with Chevio AI, it's like, okay, I have Synth V, I have Vocaloid. Let's bring Chevio AI into the mix, because this is starting to sound really good.
Can I dive in here for a second and say a little bit of a concern that I have about that? Because, like, it just sort of... I know we talked earlier about, like, in the Vocaloid era, because I feel like you can more or less call it that at this point. The vocals that sort of did well were, like... I'll add on to that a little bit. The English Vocaloids that did well to me, as far as, like, native English Vocaloids. Dex, Dinah, Ivana, and Oliver.
Right.
Oliver didn't deserve it either. I love him, but his voice bank was not good. I love him. It was just because he only got it because he was a little baby British Len, and I say that with love. I just think that UtaUtaUtau or Ruby should have been a big voice.
Yeah, exactly. I think Oliver only did really well because of just cute little baby boy.
He doesn't have an eyeball.
He's a cute little baby boy, and
but like also... I'm tired of genre-specific English voice banks. I want like general English voice banks that, like, you know, like Vocaloid was like, you know, Oliver was opera or whatever, like, you know, or choir. Sorry, not opera. Choir. I'm so sorry. Choir. Opera is Tonio and Prima. So like, it's just like in the early days of Vocaloid, especially, they just had a bunch of like genre-specific sort of English voices. But I would really love just like to just lay back for a minute and just give us like a little bit of wiggle room with English voices, because I think, especially with, like you said, Momo, Oliver's voice bank is so bad when it comes to anything that isn't choir.
And even if you just don't know how to tune him, his default voice bank, it's just, I've always said that he sounds like he's singing with cotton balls in his mouth. It's just so stuffy. I need some clarity. And there were some really good covers from people that knew what they were doing that made him sound excellent. But it's like, if you don't know how to do that, you're kind of up the creek without a paddle with Oliver.
Well, so that's sort of ish relevant to the point that I wanted to make, and I consider them to be like the 4 English Vocaloids that did really, really well. But like, English vocals have never really been advertised well, and the reason the 4 of them hit off were kind of because of fortunate circumstances. Like, Oliver was a very, very cute character design and released at probably Vocaloid's absolute popularity and information peak at the beginning of Vocaloid 3. And I feel like that was just kind of lucky circumstances. Not to say that Oliver is bad. I'm just saying he got very, very fortunate circumstances.
Yeah, I want to make it clear that I love Oliver.
Me too.
I think we all.
Yeah, I know. I love Oliver so much. He's baby.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect. Oliver's a delight. And he has so many good English songs that are like iconic in the Western fandom, you know?
I love him.
Yeah.
And of course, Puppy Cat.
Oh, the Puppy Cat was so pleasant.
That up, yeah.
Iconic.
But
that's another thing why he did so well, because that's just another like pawn in like the chess game, like how he literally just kind of appeared in like an animated series. Like it just really proves how he kind of did really well. And especially in the English market, and like even I still see people today on like Nico Nico using him for Japanese songs. Like it's really cute.
He has the latest cover that, and this is a really good segue into our next topic about Vocatone, because they had some news recently, but they recently posted a cover on their YouTube channel after like 7 years of not posting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a Oliver song by the Chinese community. Like Oliver has like a Chinese community, and like
I knew that.
everyone loves Oliver, and it's just like but yeah,
we can.
They have
the weird
potential
thing is that
yeah.
I just found the song. It has 500 views. Blow this up, please.
You got it, boss.
Why is this?
I'll send the bots out.
Can I dive in really quick before we talk about Vocatone and finish my point really quick? Okay. Oliver got lucky circumstances. It seemed to me like people, I might be a little bit wrong about this, but it seemed to me like Ivana was getting slept on a little bit until Sad Machine came out, and then suddenly everyone was an Ivana fan. That is my memory. That might be a little wrong. And then with Dex Dyna, and this could have also applied to Ruby, but Ruby's release process was an absolute disaster.
We don't want to talk about that.
Dex and Dyna were voiced by like Vocaloid producers, so like they kind of had like that weight to like carry them into success. So I don't think any of the successes we've had so far have been because of advertising.
No.
I wanted to say, that's true. I wanted to say one thing before we move on to the topic. Just like you noted about Sad Machine, like Porter Robinson using Ivana, and like just really proves how Vocaloid has moved past like the otaku sort of stuff, and like it's actually in the real music scene now. Like it's not just like, oh, funny anime people singing. Like it's actually like professional people using vocals, like vocal synths.
What was that song that came out with the horrifying 3D models? With Miku and that lady?
Daisy 2.0.
The song slapped.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I couldn't watch the video. It was scary.
And not only that, but I dislike the tuning that they did on Miku's voice. And
she sounds a little funky. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like I mean this in the nicest way possible. It sounds like she's about to throw up.
Yeah, I feel like they could have taken more time into tuning her. I will give you that.
I think they should have hired like Kira or someone to tune her, because that would have been so much more iconic than what it was.
Oh my god.
And like, there's already people doing like retunings of it I've seen, and it's like I even want to do one myself because I think that would be really fun. But yeah, like there was Daisy 2.0. It slaps. That song is good, but like, and it was a really iconic collab too. I love that. Well, I love when people like quote unquote collab with like Miku or whatever. It's really funny. But yeah, like, but I just wish they tuned her a little bit better.
Imagine. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Imagine Ash Nico like collabing with Kira. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, wow, that
would be amazing.
Make it happen. Kira, if you're listening to this, make it happen.
Amend my
somehow.
point slightly before we move on, because I'm worried of the like someone might be misinterpreting what I just said. I want to specify and say, when I was making my earlier point, I'm talking about like advertisement by the company, and there are other examples of this, but this is probably the one that's the biggest deal, so it's gonna be the example I use. Empath P and the rest of the Evoke America crew have done a great job of advertising English and Spanish vocal synth.
Oh yeah.
Dex, Dinah, Ruby, and them in particular. I am referring to the advertisement done by the company specifically when I made my previous point. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, Vocatone.
Woo! Vocatone.
Okay.
Let's go.
Right.
I don't really know how to approach this.
Fair.
So I'll start out. Okay, so Vocatone, after literally, what was it, 7 years?
Yeah.
A while.
It's
7
been a
years
minute.
of being literally dormant and disappearing off of the face of the internet. Literally just appeared on Facebook one day during, I think it was December, and they were like, "Hi." And we're like, "What, huh?" And then they made a Twitter account, and they were like, "We have a really big announcement coming," and everyone was like, "What's gonna happen?" And they started retweeting art. At first, they were retweeting art of their canceled Vocaloid, English Vocaloid, Augury. Yeah, and so everyone was like, "It's Augury! They're bringing him back! He's gonna be on Vocaloid!" And then they started retweeting Oliver, and then Yohio, and there's like, oh, they're just retweeting the art of their characters. But then they came back, and they were like, here's some silhouettes, or the eye of the two of the characters that we're going to be revealing, and then the silhouettes, they're like, oh wait, no, that's literally just Augury and some girl. And then they came out, and then Augury has a new name, Aurum, and then there's also Audine, and it's a female and male vocal, but they're not it's a masculine and feminine, I should say. They don't have official gender. They're just masculine and feminine sort of presenting. And they've also there was people some of my friends actually found before they had even been announced. I should say these people. I should have said this before I even mentioned this, but they're coming out with their own vocal engine. But some of my friends literally found out that one of the main people from Vocatone posted on this hiring website that was I'm hiring coders for a vocal synth engine. And so they were it's literally just a vocal synth engine before anyone knew that what they were doing. And then they came out and said it was vocal engine. So it was I'm surprised that not many people actually talked about that, because a bunch of people were still saying oh, they're going to Synth V, or they're staying in Vocaloid doing Vocaloid stuff. But yeah, I was gonna say they're coming out with their own engine. I forget what it's called. What
Magni
is it?
AI.
Okay, yeah.
Magni AI. Magni AI.
I think it's Magni.
It's a pun, but it's it's AI.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Because Magni Kai.
I was wondering
Magni
that.
AI. Magni AI.
I haven't watched any of the Q&As that they've done. Actually, that's not true. I watched a little bit of their first Q&A on their YouTube channel. I still don't know if it's AI. I am going to pray for them if it is AI.
I'm pretty sure it's AI. Also, when I was on Twitter, a couple of people were talking about it being their own engine because of that stuff prior to them officially stating it. But my favorite thing that happened on Twitter, even a little bit before that, when they first appeared on Facebook, being we have a surprise, is I remember people on Twitter, a couple being come on, Vocatone, make a Twitter, join us over here. And then within 2 hours, the Vocatone Twitter appeared, and we're just oh, okay, cool.
I remember when it was still is this them, or did someone is this fake, or what is going on?
They hack or whatever. Yeah.
I was worried it was a
actually so
terrible
funny.
mistake, though. After the reaction to we don't have demos, we'll put the demos behind a paywall, and then just the backlash that they got for that, which I don't think it was deserved in terms of them getting death threats and getting attacked for that.
Yeah,
and
no,
the way
never
they
got
took
death
it on the
threats.
chin, and they turned around and they were sorry, we're not going to do this. We're going to give you examples, which was a good move.
So,
but
can I dive in here a little bit, because this is a misconception that happened about the process, and I really, really want to get this out there. Basically, some people thought that the company intended. They had a Q&A, and one of the questions was something about having demo, people subscribe to the Kickstarter, seeing demos, and they approved, and they answered generally positively, And a lot of people assumed that in that answer that the company was saying that the demos were going to be behind a paywall. And I had to like sort of like dive in and do like a little bit of damage control on Twitter, because the issue that happened in that circumstances was that the question was very, very poorly worded. And it didn't like, it answers what happened. The question was about specifically only people that were paying to the Kickstarter, and it had absolutely nothing to do with people that weren't. So when they answered positively, it sounded like it was behind a paywall, when they never said that people that weren't subscribed to the Kickstarter weren't going to get things. Does that make any sense?
Either way, so to begin with, they weren't going to have demos when the Kickstarter began, but they would release demos as they went. Okay, so see, that makes more sense. And I when I saw the stuff about the paywall and the backlash about it, I was kind of like, they wouldn't release a Kickstarter for a voice synth without a demo, would they?
Yeah, that's kind of like, do you guys remember Citrus or whatever that was?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
That was kind of, Citrus was like this hoax synth that
Didn't they like trace the art, the official art, and like it was like a whole mess, right?
I don't even remember that. I just remember that they were showing screenshots from something completely different, and like the samples were literally UTAU, I think, and whatever. And yeah, so that got shut down really quickly. It was really funny though.
See, I understand people being kind of wary about Kickstarters because of the bad rap that they've gotten in the West. But you look at the successes of the Japanese fundraisers and how they're always just insanely well funded. And so I guess it makes sense about the wariness here. I have a little bit more faith in them, but there's also been... So I understand the lack of trust with... I mean, Vivi happened and all these other voices were promised and they all fell through because nothing was actually official. And this one being a little shaky because they weren't official per se, because they don't have anything yet. But obviously they're a company, they're established, they've hired coders to make the program, they just need the money. And I think it's a little bit different. So I didn't understand everyone just dogpiling and being so angry at them. And I'm just so glad that it didn't scare Vocatone away. That they were apologetic and understanding and showed like customer service, which you don't see a lot.
So my biggest thing, I understand some. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that like, even if like Vocatone had decided like the worst possible decisions at all these points, they did not deserve the death threats they got. That was ridiculous.
Of course.
But oh, what was I gonna say?
That's it. That's the point.
I think that's all you need to say. I didn't even know that was happening.
Honestly, there was another thing that was kind of important that I'm forgetting now. When like, so basically, the skepticism that Vocatone got came from a place, essentially, I want to note here, back in like the Vocaloid times of the point in time in which like Vocatone just kind of disappeared, because they kind of disappeared originally, teasing Algri, being like, this is the next vocal coming from Vocatone, and then they just kind of vanished. So I think that's where a lot of the skepticism was coming from. But one of the things about this situation that's made me really, really happy is they listened to some of that skepticism in some of their Q&As. Because if you guys were not, like, if you guys didn't know what was happening in this situation, they intended to sort of start, like, a crowdfunding campaign, like, not without a super ton of, like, stuff. They didn't even really have, like, an engine going yet. And they're like, start our crowdfunding. And everyone was like... That's a big order to like trust money with. I don't know about this. And they absolutely listened to that community feedback and and they are delaying the Kickstarter crowdfunding, whatever they're doing, until they have more of like a conceptual product thing going, which I think is a super smart move.
That was a very good, smart move. Yeah. Also, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt earlier, but I was wrong. It wasn't like 7 years. It was 7 years since they had posted on their YouTube channel. But like, obviously, they were active on Tumblr because they were posting those demos like in 2016, I think it was.
Really, that recently?
So like, it was only about 4 years ago, I think, when they disappeared.
Well, it's technically. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That feels like it. 2016 sounds so recent. I feel like The last we heard of Augury was like
Yeah.
2014. See, I didn't even know that demo existed of Augury's voice bank. I found out about it like a few months ago, and it was like, this is amazing! Why didn't this ever happen? They deserve the voice! And so I guess my curiosity with Magni AI is going to be, how good is it going to be? Because Synth V has set the bar so high.
Yeah.
And
They
Synth
set
V
it really
AI
high.
has set the bar
And-
so high.
And to go back on what Cody was saying, I was watching the Q&A that they did, and Cody, I know you said that you don't want a genre-specific vocals, but they did say that they were gonna have a lot. They wanted to do a lot of genre-specific vocals.
All right, I'm out.
No, but what I was gonna say is, I wonder what like Aram and Adine is gonna sound like. I wonder what genre they're supposed to be, or if any genre at all.
They like sort of said that they were like, okay, it wasn't like a genre, but I do remember they said like their vocal types on the announcement video.
Okay.
Yeah, what
Do
it
you
sounds
remember? Because
I'm trying. I had the tab open and I literally closed it on accident, so I need to go get it.
I would
again.
assume Audine's going to be pretty
what it
strong.
sound.
But also the
go
demo
ahead.
they had of Augury a long time ago, it was a solid bank, and I distinctly remember being impressed by it because their voice went so low, but they kept the two. It was just they were able to hit those low notes, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of range.
Okay, yeah, here we go. It's so Oram is a warm tenor and then Adine was a sweet soprano. That's what they. And also I forgot to mention apparently Oram and Adine are also, they're all announced for English, Japanese, and Spanish.
I know, yeah.
Which
I
is
think we
super cool.
yeah, we definitely
I
have
forgot
to
about
we
that.
definitely have to bring that up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They have announced that in order to do all three of those languages, they have trained the vocalists in like IPA phonetics to be like, you are getting to the sound, you are doing the actual sound.
Yeah. And they also said they're going to be translating the display stuff in the program to like 20 different languages,
yeah.
more than that.
Support for a bunch of, and I don't want to say like random languages, but there were some in there that I was like, really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
they've never really had that in Synth before, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very it's a wide net, and I'm excited about that. But I'm also kind of my skepticism for Vocatone starts right at that trilingual. So first of all, we have never had the trilingual success. CU was supposed to be she was the chosen one, and then
and then Kim
the
Downey
English
got
just like
arrested.
English fell through, and to be fair, the English was already through production, and it never happened. And then
Oh, was it?
yeah, no,
She
the
literally has
English was done.
phonetics in her voice.
They
bank.
said that they were just working on tuning, like they were fine tuning the program, and then just gone.
Fair.
There was
Yeah,
Zing,
that's
who was supposed to be released with all three, but I'm pretty sure that was an April Fool's joke. But there have been promises of starting trilingual, or we'll start with two, and if they do well, we'll add another one. Miku's the only one that's really achieved that, and that's almost like
Yeah.
a barely. That's like with an asterisk, because she came out in Chinese, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, who cares? We have like 90 better authentic Chinese voice banks. You know.
I think really they only released Miku Chinese to appease the Chinese
Right.
fandom because Miku has a really big Chinese
Yeah.
fandom as well.
Okay, can I just go on the record and say, and I was going to bring this up earlier, but I forgot to. I'm waiting for when AHS decides to bring Nana to Chevio and or Synth, and for her
I
to
was
get the
gonna say
French
that
and
earlier,
Chinese
too.
voice banks that her voice provider is able to do, because her voice provider speaks, I think, fluent Chinese and French.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Nana, get all four of your languages like you deserve, please.
Right.
And also go on to like every single engine, because that's just like what you do at this point.
So like,
Literally that, yeah.
okay, so
I was
sorry. Well, personally, so my like deepest wishes right now are Stardust English, because she's capable. Chalili can
Yeah.
sing in English, but there's also that new voice provider for her Synth V, right? Because she can't.
yes.
Stardust
Person-
Minus
Yeah,
is
so
not
that's
voiced
sad.
by Chalili.
because of like the legalities with Vocaloid, and like Vocaloid literally still owns Stardust, so they can't really they're not legally allowed to use her voice writer for Synthie, so that's sad.
Yeah, but there was that one, and then there was like the one that's my furthest shot is Miku Korean. I'm like, look,
Right.
you've already done the rest of them. Just give us one more Korean voice bank, please.
So this is kind of political, but like I don't think they're gonna do Korean because of how Japan and Korea are just kind of like politically divided.
I mean, to be fair, they're all politically divided. It's a triangle of hate, and it goes every direction.
That is very true. But it's just like, not only that, there's really not that big of a market. Like, of course, she has a Korean fandom, but there's not that big of a market for Miku Korean.
take that
Like,
back.
you know how the Korean voice mix and Vocaloid really didn't sell that well.
I've also heard Yamaha made it very, very hard for the company behind CU and Uni to like breathe. So
SBS Artec was, it had to be SBS just because they're huge. I didn't know how big SBS was in South Korea until I did some research, and it was like, holy crap. Like, only they could have done CU. And ST Media, the fact that Yuri came out was a miracle. She shouldn't exist, basically.
Yeah.
So, I'm hoping, and there was ST Media talking about a male vocal for V5, and then everyone was like, no, don't do V5. No, Synth V. Fix that real quick.
Yeah, and that probably kind of scared them away because we haven't heard anything about that male vocal since.
Synth V and Chevio are here. You could do first Korean Synth V / Chevio. You can do it. You could do it.
And I'm not even gonna ask for Chevio. I'm just gonna pray for Synth V. The bar's really low. But yeah, anyway. All that to say, the point I was trying to make was, anytime that they say 3 languages for the release, I'm a little squirrely. I'm like, let's start with English. Maybe Japanese. Those are the big markets. And then if that goes well, let's throw in Spanish, let's throw in Korean, let's throw in Russian, because there's a huge Russian fandom. They're everywhere. There's a lot of potential, but it's like, I'm worried that they're going to push themselves too far and it's going to burn out, because first of all, I want to see a breakdown of numbers. I want to see how much is it going to cost you to develop your own bank in each language, and make it a stretch goal to at least ensure we can have it, not just say, yeah, we can do it. Because I want to see the costs, how much do you need for what specifically, I think that would be very useful. So I'd feel a little more confident in them saying, yeah, three languages out the gate. I want it, but I can't believe it. I gotta trust it more.
Definitely. It's such a hard situation with Vocatone, because obviously I definitely want to of course it's I said this before we started recording, but I don't have a lot to say. I'm nervous, I'm scared, but I have hope. Maybe I should
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic, but I'm scared.
More cautious than optimistic. I mean, for me, either way, I'm giving them my money. Just because of how they handled the backlash so gracefully. It was like, I don't care if it sounds like UTAU or worse. You can have my money. They earned it.
Yeah, we're literally malnourished in synth content nowadays.
All right. Do we want to talk about Tianyi now?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is the big quote unquote big Vocaloid news. I feel like I don't know a lot about this, so I'll let someone else talk about it.
Can I dive in here?
Mew should talk about it, I think.
Okay. So in the New Year's performance that Billy did as China switched into the new year, one of the performances was done by Tianyi, and it was super cool. It was super fun. And then some of the people connected to the development of Liu Tianyi were asked afterward, she sounded a little bit different than her Vocaloid 4. Is this potentially an updated voice bank? And they came out straight honest. And were yes, this is a beta version of her Vocaloid 5 bank. So Tianyi is getting officially a Vocaloid 5 update. And there are also V5 demo songs for Ling and Yunhe, so they will probably be getting one. And maybe also Longya, Qingqian, and Mocha. Don't know about them yet, but maybe them too.
Please.
But I want to make it
Mocha, please. Me, please, Mocha.
I want to make this abundantly clear, and I feel like it's good for me to say this, as on Twitter I tend to be a little bit of a Vocaloid 5 optimist. This does not really change the circumstances of Vocaloid 5. It is more just that the company behind Tianyi is unreasonably loaded, and regardless of the fact that Yamaha's ridiculously high licensing fees, they can pay for it. Tianyi continuing here doesn't really change things for anyone else. The core of the issue of Yamaha's licensing stuff being way too expensive still has not been answered. Vocaloid 5 is still pretty dead. Tianyi showing
I
up
really
there,
wonder about
good for
that,
her,
honestly.
but that's the circumstances behind that. As a little bit of a segue for the other little piece of Vocaloid news, the other big question mark, because over time some of the companies have like made decisions or made like teasers that answer like, oh, this is what they're doing now that they're not doing Vocaloid anymore. And one of the big question marks has been the one big one left is, what on earth is Internet Company doing?
Right.
And we
So,
still,
we already know that Internet Co. has expressed that they have no plans to update any of their vocals to V5.
Yes.
So that's already out of the question. So, but, like, we all know that AHS and Internet Co. have been kind of buddy-buddy in the past for, like, a long time. And so, like, as companies, which is kind of strange. That's, like, not really, like, not common for Vocaloid companies, especially.
Yeah,
specifically Vocaloid companies.
they're really friendly, and it shows in a lot of collaborations where you'll see like Gumi and Yukari in the same thing a lot of the time.
Yeah. So what they were doing is like the official Gumi and Una accounts on Twitter were like liking and replying and retweeting a bunch of stuff that was related to like Rika, which is AHS's new vocal. And, like, that's unusual because most of the time the Gumi and Una accounts are just, like, reposting, like, little fan contents or, like, like announcements for them or whatnot. But, like, all of a sudden, they just, like, retweeted, like, something Synth V or Chevio related. And that was, like, wow, that's interesting. So a lot of people are speculating and really, really hoping that Internet Co. probably moves to Synth V soon.
Can you
I wanna
imagine
specify-
Gumi on Synth V? Like,
Right?
oh my
I know.
God.
Not only would that be literally like a serve, it's just like she deserves that. She like deserves that quality.
Yeah, really.
All right, everybody
pretty
stop though.
sure-
Hold on. We're ignoring something very important. Gumi English on Synth.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, you are completely
I was
right.
so mad that Gumi
and
English never got an
English.
update.
Gact can sing in English.
Oh, yes, that too.
Come on.
And Lily English. That would be interesting.
Sorry,
really,
I
Lily's
forgot
voice
somebody
provider
else.
can also sing in English.
Gachapoid English.
No.
I want to specify here that I'm pretty sure the Gumi and Una accounts were also interacting with Suina-chan stuff, and she's also doing like Synth V Chevio things.
Oh yeah.
But I want to make it absolutely clear here that that in no way proves anything. As of recording this, Internet Company has not made an official statement that Gumi, Una, or anyone else is moving to one of the engines or both or whatever. It is pure speculation at this point. It might just be like the Internet Company Twitter accounts being buddy-buddy with Age Software as they usually do. It might be that they plan to move over there. We don't know yet. It is pure speculation at the moment.
Yeah, that was just like a thing we wanted to mention in passing because we all thought that like that was really awesome, funny, cool stuff. So like we just like thought everyone else should know about that. It just in the air. It's in the air. We all know that could happen. There's a possibility.
In this situation, it does happen. I really, really hope Internet Company brings... I don't expect it to all happen at once, obviously, but I really hope they bring their entire Vocaloid library over.
Please.
Gumi, Gakupo, Lily, Gachapoi, Cole, Kokone, Chica, Una, all of them. Bring them over here. I want them all.
Come on.
Chica.
Come on over. Don't be shy.
So I really...
And even
it makes me
Gallico and
wonder,
Rana,
though,
too, if you can pull that off.
You kind of have to think about it, because I was wondering about the V5 licensing being insane, and the expensiveness of it, and V3 was just a time of like awesome chaos. Everybody got a voice bank. There were so many different characters. There was so much experimentation. But you also remember that there were a lot of vocals and characters that just kind of we all forgot about or just lost a lot of popularity. And V4 was similar. We didn't see nearly as many new companies entering the fray. We didn't see nearly as many new characters. It was like 80% updates or characters we knew were already coming, rather than just like new. Like Lumi was such a breath of fresh air, but now it's like, where'd she go? And I wonder if Yamaha is tightening up, not because they're a bunch of donkeys, but because they're a company, they need to make money, and they lost money on all these new characters and taking all these chances, and so now it's like they have just tightened up the purse strings so much because they're scared of losing money. But that screwed them over because V5 was insanely expensive. The voice banks we have are like 6. It's a real pain. Also, what's going to happen to Sora?
I don't know.
Is she trapped in V5, or can they save her and bring her to Synth V and Chevio?
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, no, that's interesting. I didn't think about that one.
Did.
Also, speaking of Lumi, this is completely in passing. We're probably not going to get into this, but what happened to Lumi English in her
Was that
append?
gonna happen?
What happened to that? That was gonna. There was plans for that.
They
unless I'm
probably
going
didn't
crazy.
sell
with the
enough.
Vocaloid 5 release.
Yeah, she did have like a big following at her beginning, and then like all of a sudden,
There was a big
where'd she go?
marketing push, and then people just didn't care. I think part of it was
like
her
with her- like
design.
with her
I mean,
design contest.
I love her design, but I can't get over the freaking jellyfish. Just take the jellyfish off her back and just leave her
No,
pretty
I
girl.
like it. It's so cute.
I love it, but like it's so distracting when they did the live concerts for her, and it was like, oh, pretty girl, jellyfish monster. It was like, what's happening? It kind of limited her character, I think, too much in what they did, but it was so interesting and unique, and the water in her dress. Lumi was someone I really liked, and then where'd she go? You know, people just didn't care enough about it. That's an instance where it's like they marketed the heck out of her, but just wasn't interest.
Can I clarify what happened with Vocaloid 5 real quick?
Please.
And that might answer some of those questions, because I don't know how well known this is.
All right.
So, how Yamaha has handled Vocaloid as long as I can remember, is there's sort of 2 licenses involved in the process of making a Vocaloid voice bank that you have to buy from Yamaha. There's the company license that the company has to buy to be able to use the Vocaloid engine.
Okay.
And then there's the voice bank license for the individual voice bank release.
Wow.
And you have to buy both of those. That has been a thing for, I'm going to assume, the entire time, as far back as I can remember. Vocaloid 5, and I still think this is one of the, if not the worst decision Yamaha has made in regards to Vocaloid. Yamaha looked at all the companies that had the company license, the one that let you use the Vocaloid software, and said, hey, none of you have that anymore, and you have to buy it over again.
Really?
So I think
did not
that's
know
a big
this.
part of it.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Wow.
Yamaha can go away.
Yeah. This is in no way a defense of Yamaha, because I think they really dropped the ball on V5 and V4. Honestly, I was really disappointed with the lack of fresh vocals and just trying new things.
Yeah.
The Spanish fandom.
I feel like there's a couple, Sachiko comes to mind, but other than that...
Yeah.
With my clarification, there's one interesting thought process that I always think about in that realm of thought of what Yamaha did with the companies when Vocaloid 5 started. And it's I just want us to think about this for a second. AHS and Gynoid have Vocaloid 5 company licenses.
Oh yeah.
Sora V5 exists. Mecha Mikoto exist.
Hime.
So I think it's showing that they, or at least someone they're connected to, has the Vocaloid recording license. It might not be the company themselves, it might be someone they're associated with.
Yeah.
But they have the Vocaloid 5 recording license, and they are still jumping ship. Flowers moving to Chevio. HS is doing all the stuff with Synth V and Chevio.
And I would assume that's because A, Synth V and Chevio aren't broken, and B, it's more affordable, and it has a better reputation. I mean, V5 had promise, and then it came out and it was a mess, and then, you know, we only got those few voice banks. And I wonder, because see, we have like a couple confirmations from Krypton for V5, but we never had a Miku, Rinlin, Luca V5 confirmation. And I wonder if it was like after seeing what happened to the V5 release, I wonder if that all fell apart. And the biggest thing for me is Sora got leaked. And I wonder if it was a panic move by Yamaha to just say, oh, here it comes. You know, here it is.
Right.
And it wasn't a finished
Sora
product.
Got teased before
you know?
V5. I do remember that. I actually remember this timeline really, really well now that you're bringing it up, and I think it's answering a couple of questions for me, because I remember the very, very first thing that happened, and it was like a week or two before Vocaloid 5 finally got announced. And it was like, if you want to buy like any of the prior to V5 most updated of the VY series, do it now. And then they answered no questions about like why.
Yeah.
Like they're like, if you want VY1 to V4, buy her now. And then that was just a thing. And I think that originally happened before we saw Sora. But in that time period, we saw Sora, and she didn't have the V4 next to her like thing. And everyone was like, does Sora mean V5? And that is what she meant.
I remember that. I remember when VY1 and VY2 were like, it was like, are they going away? Are they being discontinued? Like, what is going on?
I mean, technically, like, they kind of were discontinued, but not completely.
Yeah.
They're just like
The biggest
all their
one-
past voice banks.
The biggest one I remember is I remember a lot of people panic buying Cyber Songman. Like a lot of people held out on buying Cyber Songman, and they're like, I mean, he might be dying in a week, so now or never, I guess. It was really fun.
Yeah.
As they should. Cyber Songman is very good. I love him
Very
so
much. Oh, this also brings in the question with the gynoid thing. This also brings in the question, because of how new Mikoto and Hime are, like they're just like they're the newest Vocaloid voice banks that have been released, which was literally over a year ago too, which is kind of sad. But like, it brings into question: are they going to be moving to Chevio 2 or not?
Yeah, I wonder how.
And also same thing with Xinhua. Yeah.
Xinhua.
I wonder how that works. I wonder how that
So
works.
I'm curious about that for the same reason that Stardust got screwed over.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Charlie.
Yeah,
Is there going to be
that's
a
what I was
legal issue
thinking.
where they're going to either find new vocalists that sound similar, or are they just going to not worry about it and just let them die on V5? I mean,
I think
because
we can
like
at least find security in the idea that Gynoid is willing to move the characters over, even if they have to find new vocalists. Again, we
Sure.
haven't heard Flower demos because we just haven't heard Flower demos yet. But we do know that Flower is moving to Chevio.
Yeah, that's like all we know right now. But like the same thing is because Yamaha does not care about V4 anymore, and let alone V3, V2,
Yeah.
V1. So that's a big reason why Flower even got to move to Chevio, because she was not updated for V5. So
but that's my concern with Hime
Yamaha
and
really-
Mikoto, because they were so popular, and
Exactly,
it's like,
because-
well, I'm like, Yamaha's gonna fight. I can't imagine Yamaha
Yeah,
letting them go without a
they want-
fight.
they want their two little
They're little
demon
money
baby
makers.
things. Yeah.
That's
So, it's
all
just
they
like-
got. That's all V5's got for going.
That's
for
all
them.
they need.
Yeah.
Mikoto is a gift.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they are great.
Yeah,
Do we want to? What else do we have to talk about? 'Cause-
A lot.
Kafu.
Right.
Wait. The Seika
Kafu.
teasers.
Oh yeah,
Because
and
that one's
Seika.
actually been
Yeah,
confirmed for the
but-
crowdfunding.
right.
yeah, that crowdfunding is going on right now. As of
love her.
recording
Yeah.
this, I can't guarantee it'll be still going when this is uploaded, but as of right now, it is still going.
So she was originally a voice roid, and Seika, it was she's like a mascot for like I think it was like a university or like a
Really?
town in Japan.
No, a town.
Like
A
Zuko.
town mascot, yeah.
But Zuko was like the whole Tohoku, like, what's that
Yeah.
called? It's not a
I
county.
think it's Tohoku Prefecture. I think.
Prefecture, thank you.
The prefecture, yeah. Oh my god. Why? I literally was talking about prefectures earlier in the day. Why did I not know what the word was? Oh my god.
English is hard.
But yeah, so Seika has been confirmed for Synth. The crowdfunding is going on right now.
I did not expect there's so much news in the synth community that, like, I'm just like, what?
And then all dropped
Like-
within like a week of each other. And I'm just like, what is happening?
I had, like, oh my god, it's so funny because for a really long time, I had a sneaking suspicion that Seiko was gonna get a Synth
Really?
bank or something like that.
Why is that?
Yeah, and that was even before AHS was confirmed to even be affiliated with Synth V at all. Like, I was just like, I feel like she's probably gonna get some kind of like anything, like a Vocaloid or a Synth V or something like that.
So I'll be completely honest, I forgot about her. Like, I didn't even know she existed. Or I knew about her, but I just kind of like dismissed her because I've never cared about Voiceword until Yukari got one, and I was like, okay. And then I found out that there's all this lore behind, and there's so many, and it's super popular. But like, Seika was one of the ones where I was like, okay, well, she's there. All right.
I think I used to think she was really cute, and I was disappointed that she wasn't a singing sim.
Yeah, I think she's really cute. Doesn't she
Yeah.
do like the news and like weather?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's adorable.
It's really cute.
Wow. I guess it's like for her, for me, her design didn't appeal to me very much. So I just kind of, I feel so mean saying that. I just kind of was like, okay, whatever. Just kind of wrote her off. You know.
She's giving me like Gachapoid's mom.
If Gachapoid and Nemu had a baby. She's got Nemu's haircut
yeah,
and
very
Gachapoid's
much.
color palette. It's like, it's
Oh my, wait. It's like a fusion.
a fusion.
of
Yeah,
Nemu and Gacha.
fusion.
I looked at her lore like before we started recording, and this is really, really cute. She will wear multiple outfits, but that outfit has to always be green.
No way.
Oh, it's so cute. I'm so excited.
I'm just glad that there's
Yeah.
this community is still alive. V5
Oh my God,
scared
yeah,
me. I
I
was
was
like,
crying.
oh, okay.
V5
Vocal
really
sense are dead. It's over.
The era after V5's release and seeing how little the V5 was able to offer as of its release, I think it has done miles as of now. I think it's actually a pretty okay engine now. But when it first released, that was one of the scariest times in this community.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we all just gonna fade away?
Right. Well, I'm like, I've kept CU alive for a decade. I can do it for 10 more years. Come on, no one else will do it. But, I mean, so I guess for me I always used to be kind of like a Vocaloid purist. Like when Chevio first came out and when One was announced and then we found out she wasn't going to Vocaloid, I was like, oh, whatever, okay. I didn't even like you that much. I was just kind of like, Vocaloid is the only way, basically. And then when Hai was announced for Synth V, I was like, okay. There was just kind of the shift started, but I wasn't convinced that anything could possibly top Vocaloid. And I think for Synth V to come in when it did, it was like, it convinced me that yes, Chavio, Synth V, Deep Vocal, there's so many other options, and it really kind of opened the floodgates. And I'm so happy that there's more options now outside of Vocaloid, because the competition's back.
Yeah,
I
I am very happy that there is competition and Vocaloid is no longer like a monopoly
Right.
of like because
Oh my God,
Vocaloid has just like, well, maybe not so now, but like Vocaloid is just like has become like just another word for vocal synth in a way.
Yeah.
And I'm just very glad that there's competition. So
Yeah, I very much agree with Momo's thought process from what she was just talking about, because I still consider myself sort of like a Vocaloid 5 optimist when and if that is possible. Big emphasis on if. But it took me a minute after Vocaloid 5's release to accept that there was an option for the synth community outside of just like trying to prop up Vocaloid 5 in its last legs. Like, it took me a while to come to those terms, and then once Synth V and Chevio started doing their things, I'm like, okay, there is hope in not the Vocaloid engine.
There is another.
yeah, so that being said, if you are in the same boat as Momo was, please go check out Synth V stuff and Chevio, and please
please.
support them.
Please,
Buy
I'm a
Molly
Synth V
when she
stan now.
comes
It's
out.
like
Let us have English synth.
the tier list has become Synth V, Chevio V5.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's just they have done so
No,
much good,
it's mo-
and the quality,
honestly,
just everything.
It's more like Synth V Chevio UTAU V5 now.
Yes. Okay,
that's valid. That's valid.
UTAU is still amazing, and it always will be.
Yeah, we haven't really brought up UTAU a lot, but we definitely will be doing an UTAU video in the future, just because there's so much news outside of UTAU and Vocaloid. We haven't really been talking about it, but don't worry, we still will we will be making UTAU videos.
Very
don't
much
worry.
so, yeah.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about UTAU, just like UTAU isn't in this big news
Yeah.
presentation. And the way I like to think about UTAU is like, UTAU doesn't get like these big news stories as
Yeah.
often because UTAU is just so like omnipresent.
Yeah, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's for fans by fans sort of thing. Like it's all just
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
all independent people except for like Teto.
Yeah.
So like it's really not that like there's not that much to talk about other than like we could talk about stuff like how Amaya came back a while ago and she's is it what are their pronouns? Is they like have confirmed pronouns or not?
I just use they.
Oh, okay. Well, they have like confirmed they're not dead and like they're still working on UTAU updates or whatever. And like I also know about Aiko Kikune has been confirmed to be getting VCV and a new English voice bank soon. So we could but there's not that much news about other stuff regardless because like we could talk about like stuff that with like popular UtaUloids and stuff, but to be honest, we're probably just gonna be doing like a whole episode on like UTAU history at first. Because like
Yeah.
I would love to do a talk about like then and now.
Yeah, honestly.
Because I didn't realize the quality of UTAU has really improved, and I was so the last time I took UTAU seriously was. Do you guys remember the UTAU tree? That was just like a Microsoft Paint tree.
Oh yeah,
With some
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
metal voice. That's the last UTAU I ever listened to, and I was like 13, and I was like, this is insane. Goodbye. But then I heard somebody's new demo that they did for the UtaUloid, and they were just like, the vibrato, the tuning, everything was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Is that
because
really UTAU?
recording methods, tuning methods, resamplers, all that stuff has improved so much over the years.
It really
Yeah.
it's I am so proud of the UTAU
Yeah.
community for like going from not to say that old CV voice banks are bad because like I have a
Soft spot, yeah.
definitely
they're
have a
all
soft
very
spot for
charming
them.
because they're just so cute. So. Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that it went from that to like you hear about like 5-pitch with falsetto with like all these like it's just amazing what we've been able to come up with, like the English VCCV, is that
Yes.
VCCV Reckless that was created, that just sounds amazing. Like there's so much
Like
UTAU
in 10
content
years
that-
it's been from like what is this sounds terrible to like oh my god I can barely distinguish between if this is a human or not, like
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
UTAU has really improved.
Yeah. Also, someone brought up Aiko Kikune earlier, and Mist, if you're listening, I am knocking on your window telling you to make Aiko Kikune's new voice bank.
I'm starving.
Give it to us.
Speaking of that, this is funny. I literally like just started talking. Like I've been talking to Mist just personally for a while, but like I made a cover with Aiko English and
saw that.
Mist was like, "Oh my god!" because she was like, "This is amazing. I've never heard Aiko English used like this before." And so like it's just like so sweet. I'm like so happy that like I didn't even think that she would see it. Like I thought that it would just kind of be out there, but like it's really amazing. And like she followed me on Twitter and all that stuff. It was like awesome. I loved it.
I want to like clarify this real quick because I don't want what I'm about to say to be like overgeneralized. I'm not telling you all to like go and like simultaneously like pester the big names and like the Synth community, but the like UTAU and like Vocaloid like community is just some of the yeah, we have our drama moments, obviously, but like,
Oh, God.
they are some of the comfiest people in the entire world.
Definitely.
And like, I will even admit to it, like, if you are able to talk to some of the big names, it catches you very off guard. Like, I remember one day I was just like talking to Mist about going to conventions and stuff, and I'm like, wait, this is a mystifier. Hold on.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, definitely.
This is someone that's been in UTAU for like 10 years now.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
honestly.
12. I think it's almost 11, 12
yeah.
now for her. That's
Yeah, at this
crazy.
point,
20.
20, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna one up that, like, everyone. I mean, of course. There is a lot of drama.
Oh, yeah.
There is a lot
It's
of
scary.
drama.
By the way,
so-
SynthCast is drama free. We will not be speaking about drama.
Yeah,
We will
if there
not.
are any topics that are like too drama-y or like hotly debated still in the community, we will
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
talk about it or not talk about the aspect of it that is like drama-y.
Yeah. And
Until we begin Momopom's drama section. It's just gonna be
One day we
angry
just, like,
debating for like an hour.
Episode 12, only host Momo.
I'm just gonna be
dropping
screaming
drama.
about everything.
Momo shouting into the mic for an hour about drama.
I'll do my own, you know what grinds my gears?
All right. So
So
do we want to
just-
talk? Or sorry. Do we want
Oh
to talk
no,
about?
go ahead.
talk about
Do we want to talk about
Yeah.
Kafu?
There's so Kafu Kafu was kind of announced around like with sort of she was like kind of announced with Chevio AI in a way. Like just around the time basically, and like they're just like, oh, she's Chevio AI, and like they she's voiced by a very popular singer and or Utaite named Kaf. So Kafu is basically just kind of like a pun. And she Kafu was given this sort of like voting thing on Twitter that was like, which voice do you like the most? And there was type A, which was pretty much identical to Kaf's singing voice, and then type B, which was just pitched up, and then type C, which was auto-tuned type B, which was kind of probably just there to balance out to have like 3 options, because like no one was gonna choose 3. 3 sounded weird. But like honestly there was no point in even having 3. Or they're like type C. Like it was just like you're gonna choose a synth with the capability as Chevio AI, what is the point of having an automatically auto-tuned vocal like that? But so Kaf, they obviously type A won because it sounded great. But Kaf came out in a statement saying that regardless, I'm sorry, but even though type A won, we're going to be going with type B because I'm not comfortable with my own voice being used, because I'm worried that I'm going to be replaced in the singing game, basically. Which is actually a very valid and common worry of other Japanese like voice providers for anything. Like back since Vocaloid from a long time ago, that's why a lot of Japanese voice providers are not revealed, because they don't want to be replaced, basically.
How interesting.
Yeah, basically she made a statement saying like, I get that y'all voted for type A and wanted that one, but type A is essentially a carbon copy of my actual voice, and that just makes me uncomfortable, so we're going with B. That's basically what she said.
And because of that,
it's
the
understandable.
community had a wildfire, basically. Like, it was...
We had a little tantrum.
Everyone was upset about that, except for me, because I actually like type B. I would have preferred type A, but I think type B is cute. Obviously, it doesn't have the same sort of mature sound to it, but
Yeah.
I love it. It's adorable. But
The thing I really liked about Type A wasn't even so much the maturity, but so her voice is throaty,
yeah, very
and
much.
I don't really like that very much, but I really like it in Japanese music. There's multiple singers who are my
Yes.
favorite because that's just such a iconic voice, and it works so well in Japanese music that I've listened to anyway.
Basically, the biggest thing that I saw, and I don't want to be like, my opinion is the majority opinion, but it did seem like the majority opinion about Kafu's decision was, like, the one I had. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of like understanding why Kaf made the decision she made, but still being disappointed about it.
Right. I was in that wheelhouse, too.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't know that the concern was being replaced. I'm much more sympathetic to that. I understood, from what I had heard, my understanding was she's 16, first of all. She's a baby.
Really?
Which is like, what are you doing?
Wait, Kaf is 16?
In this big playing field, you're so little.
I also didn't know that.
Well, she's a wee thing. And so I really understood that being uncomfortable, like, she's a kid.
Yeah.
This is a whole new world, and there's so much pressure, and it's like, holy crap, this 16-year-old is putting her voice out there for anybody to use. And I thought it was kind of like with Fukase and how you had to jump through all these hoops to monetize music, because he didn't want to be attached to, you know, the messages of songs and stuff like that, and having that be monetized if it was something harmful. And that's what I was thinking was where she was going with Kafu being type B rather than type A was, what if somebody uses her voice and it's for something she doesn't agree with, or that's her voice that's being used.
Also,
and I can see that being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't even know that's the reason that Fukase chose that. I just thought it was because
Well, it was
Yamaha
one of the reasons.
Oh, I just thought because Yamaha was like greedy. Like I thought
it was kind of the same with Pico too, was you had to jump through all those hoops for the monetization, but it's also Sony.
Really?
We don't want to talk about Sony. Sony's
Sony. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know about Pico.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I didn't know Pico did. I don't think they're exactly the same as Fukase's, but I remember someone saying that Zola also has
Zola does too.
Really?
I'm not a producer.
I didn't know that about Zola.
Yeah, I'm not a producer, so I didn't know about that. Wow.
I'm pretty sure I don't think they're the same as Fukase's, but I'm pretty sure Zola also has some monetization loopholes.
Does Yohio?
I think he might. I think he actually does. I was gonna say earlier before I muted. I was gonna say with Kafu with being 30, you can notice when Kafu singing is when she goes, a lot of the time when she goes she goes or like she'd be like deiru, she'd be like deiru. It's just I love that sound. It's really good.
Me too. It's I love her tone so much.
Yeah.
That being said, I didn't even know that she was 16. So
me neither.
When I found out about that, I was like, okay, protect the sweet angel.
Yeah, that brings an entire new understanding of why she did that in the first place.
See, that's the only understanding I had. I didn't even consider that idea of being replaced.
Oh, I think she kind of stated that in general. She kind of said that.
Okay, to be fair, I didn't read the official statement. I just got all my news from Twitter secondhand, so I accept full responsibility for being dumb.
Oh, you're valid. You're good.
Yeah. But I just wanted to say that Kaf is is she considered a VTuber?
Kaf? Or Kaf? Or Kaf
yeah,
or
Kaf?
Kaf? I don't know. I don't actually know much about Kaf.
I'm pretty sure she's just a new Taite. I also don't super know a ton, so don't quote me on it.
I just found it very interesting that there's so many VTubers out now, and I just found it super interesting that VTubers were getting into the voice synth scene, because I kind of follow VTubers somewhat frequently, and they reference Vocaloid and Miku songs and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're connected. So
I want them to stay away.
Yeah.
They're connected sort of in the name of just Japanese popular culture, maybe a little bit more so with Miku, but the one thing I do remember was the VTuber surge when King came out. Every Japanese VTuber sang King. They all did a cover of it, and I was okay.
That's so I would love this is just I would love for voice synth and more VTubers to voice and be more active in the voice synth
there's a lot of potential there. I think I want Kafu to do well, because if that's successful, what if we get some of those really big VTubers to come in? I wasn't fond of them kind of coming into the scene, Kizuna I think she's great. It makes me so sad how she's kind of fallen off. She started everything, and now her views are down and nobody seems to really care about her as much. But I was really I wasn't happy to see her doing like performances and singing covers like Miku does on stage, because I was like, wait a minute. That's a Miku thing. That's Vocaloid's thing. What are you doing?
Does Kizuna Ai still do her talk show thing?
Yeah.
Because I remember on the talk show one time, Io was the guest.
Really?
No, one time, I think it was like the 3rd episode. It was pretty early on, but like it was done with like the... I think it was done with
yes.
Yeah,
I
Io
remember
was
seeing
a
this.
guest, and they performed together.
Wow.
Yes, I remember
It was
seeing
really,
this.
it was wild. I watched it, I don't think I watched it live, but I watched it afterward. Io was a guest on Kizuna Ai's like talk show. It was really wild.
Yeah,
That's kinda cool.
Kizuna Ai is like, she covers a lot of Vocaloid and synth songs, and she has like a very like, it's obvious that she very much loves Vocaloid and Miku and stuff like that. So I understand.
I mean, imagine if
think
she got a voice bank.
Yeah.
Isn't Kizuna Ai, I don't know if it still is, but I think one of the biggest things that showed that, wasn't she at least originally done in Miku Miku Dance?
Really?
I'm pretty sure her
I'm pretty
model
sure,
was.
like, I'm pretty sure sometimes they like panned out to be like show us your room, Kizuna, and then it just pans out. And like I remember like the X, Y, and Z grid and like grid shape of MMD, and I'm like, is Kizuna Ai in Miku Miku Dance? Is that what this is running on?
I wouldn't be that surprised, honestly,
Right.
because she very
Don't
much
quote me on that.
Yeah.
I think that's true, but that is a little bit of a question mark.
The way
so.
her model looked and the way she moved, I assumed she was a MMD, but see, the rigging was so smooth. It was kind of like how VTubers are now. It was kind of like, is that MMD? Because my question was, how are they doing this? Is she doing all this voiceover and then somebody's animating it? Or is it actually like they're recording her movements as she's talking? Like that was, Kizuna Ai was kind of my first foray into it, and now it's so advanced and everyone does everything all live and it's all smooth and beautiful and synced up, and it was, the MMD thing was a big question for me.
I wasn't sure how they did Kizuna Ai. I was going to be completely honest, because I don't think... it might be a little fuzzy, because, like, yeah, she has been, like, out of the sphere for a minute. Did she ever do, like, the traditional, or I guess traditional now, like, VTuber bust image in the corner as you, like, live stream games? Did she ever do that? Because it doesn't feel like she did a ton.
She did. She actually has her own,
2D.
like, design for Kizuna AI games or something. Like, she's got her own gaming stuff.
It felt like more, it was, like, pre-made recordings that weren't, like, limited to her just, like, chilling in the corner.
She was more like a YouTuber that are, like, mainstream YouTubers, but it's an anime girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We lost one.
Oh, Cody disappeared. Oh, rip. Okay.
All right. So,
I think these are the last two things we have to do, though, and it is that AI voice. So AI voice, if you guys don't know who AI voice is, and I only recently figured out who they are, so you know, but they are the company that does a lot of the tech for like talk engines. They did the tech behind VoiceRoid, Megapoi Talk, I think, Gallico Talk. I'm pretty sure they did the Megas Talk and Una Talk. I'm pretty sure they did those two. Question mark. I know they did VoiceRoid and Gallico Talk. That much I know for sure. But they have, and by being the company behind VoiceRoid, they are also the company that are connected to the Kotonoha sisters. I really hope I pronounced that right. the pink-haired and blue-haired girls in VoiceRoid.
Akane and Aoi.
Yuzuru. Yeah.
Red and blue.
Yuzuru. They're the ones attached to that company name. Recently, the sisters moved to the Synth V engine, and someone asked AI Voice about what they're doing in the future. And they have said that they don't really have any further plans for the VoiceRoid engine, and will be sort of moving on to like these other programs that are appearing and like working with those.
Right.
I don't know if Yuzuru intends to be moved to
Oh, he better.
Synth V. We don't know that yet, but the sisters are already on it. So in a sense, Voicroid is kind of dead at this point, which I find a little... It really caught me off guard when that news came out, because I'm like, didn't Una Voicroid 2 happen like 2 weeks ago? It was weird.
It was.
Well, I mean, maybe they're just trying to catch it before it's like it's not financially viable anymore. Like maybe they're just trying to get ahead of the curve in terms of let's not do what Vocaloid 5 did. Let's retire it and move on because there's so much potential in other areas.
Like as a decision, it completely makes sense to me, but it still caught me off guard because of how close it was to the release of Una Voicroid.
And I mean, as I heard that Voicroid was always extremely successful, which I thought was bizarre because very few people care about it here. And then we find out that everybody freaking loves Voicroid in Japan. Like the whole, they have those big displays in stores and Voicroids everywhere. I really wonder about the popularity of it. And that's also kind of like a... I can't imagine the reason why they would do that is because they were having issues in terms of like financially they were having struggles. I think maybe it's just them trying to be entrepreneurial, but I could be wrong. I mean, who knows?
That's fair. I can give a little bit of an outlook into this. And this might be another reason why it caught me so off guard. I have a little bit of experience, very, very light experience in the synth world in Japan, as I did study abroad over there for a year.
Woohoo!
And one of the places that I went to is Yodobashi Kamara in Osaka. That's the area that I was in. And like on one of the floors, there's like a little like synth like mini aisle thing. And what I found interesting about it when I first saw it is there's sort of like the front display that's like on the side of the aisle, and then you go down the aisle and there's some other stuff, if that makes any sense. And the thing that is on the front displayed to like everyone with big like cardboard cutouts displayed in like big advertisements you can see like halfway down the store hallway was Voicroid. And then in the aisle to the side of it were the Vocaloid voice banks.
Wow.
That's what I found really, really interesting about it. And I think because I saw that and I'm like, everyone really loves Voicroid over here. Oh my goodness. And now they're just like, nope, we're not doing Voicroid anymore. And I'm like, well, that was fast. Okay.
Well, it might just be more viable and maybe there's better opportunities to go these alternate routes. And maybe it takes more pressure off of them in terms of maybe it's more efficient. Maybe it's cheaper. Maybe it just makes more sense. Maybe there's a trajectory. You know, that's one thing I absolutely hate about vocal synth companies. I don't have numbers. I don't have sales figures. I don't have profits. All we know is, see, you didn't sell well, you know, and nothing after that. And like Meg Point English, she got V3. She seemed to do well. Where's her V4? Did she not sell well, or did they just choose not to? Why is Voicroid suddenly being canceled? You know, I wish there was hard data to look at to know what's going on.
It definitely seemed like it was a really, really big deal. Like, I cannot emphasize how much, like, they, like, were trying to, like, get your attention with the Voicroid advertisements. There were, like, things hanging from the walls, like cardboard cuts nearby, and they, like, switched out the advertisements for who the newest Voicroid was.
Wow.
I think in my time there and the times that I went there, I remember there being advertisement for Sora Voicroid, Yuzuru, and Suina-chan.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, what did they do with the cutouts?
They sort of just like put them like next to like there was this like display out in the front.
Okay, but what did they do when they switched them out?
I'm gonna steal one of them.
Right, where can I get one?
Yeah, they had like the cardboard cuts out next to the display or like hanging from the ceiling or something.
That's so cool.
They were like around the area a little bit too, like you could see like Sora chilling or something. And then on the front display, they had at least every Voicroid 2 display being like, hey, we like have your Voicroid kids, come buy them.
I'm gonna steal
like
them.
They were like selling that stuff way harder than they were selling Vocaloid.
Did they have Yuzuru ever on a display?
Yeah, he would. In my time there, the big displays, because they were the new ones, were Sora when I first got there.
Okay.
And then over the time, there were big displays for Yuzuru, and there were big displays for Suina-chan.
I'm telling you.
And
I love Suina-chan.
Japan is actually where... Okay, My vocal synth exploits as for who I bought in Japan are... I'll do this in order of... Or in, like, a little bit of an order. This isn't the chronological order. I got Miki V4, Kokone, Yuzuru, and my absolute favorite, and this will absolutely blow your mind that I still, like, only, like, not even a year ago, found this, like, as a physical that I could go buy. Gachapoid V2.
Shut your face. No, you did not.
I did, and I don't have it with me right now. This weird thing happened with the boxes being sent home where, like, that box got redirected to my parents' house and my parents have to, like, give it to me.
Oh boy.
But he's in there. I have the most legendary Vocaloid box in existence.
I have to disagree.
I have Gachapoid V2.
Liu Tianyi V3 Deluxe.
Okay, that is a pretty sexy box.
She got 2 figures in an art book. That you can't top that. I don't care how cute Gachapoid's little weird eyeballs on his... You can't top that. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I was very, very happy about
Where
that.
did you find it?
It was just, like, in the store. Like, how they did it with the Vocaloid and VoiceRoid voice banks is, like, you had, like, a fake box. Like, it was, like, the CD case, but, like, didn't have anything in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you, like, brought it up to, like, the thing, and then they, like, went in the back and got, like, the actual bank, and then, like, handed it to you when you paid for it.
The only reason they don't have those out is because they know when I go there, I'm just going to try and steal as many of them as I can.
Honestly,
they're like,
they
oh
might
crap,
need to work
Momo
a little
wants
bit
them.
harder because they might need to work a little bit harder because it sounds to me like if either the two of you went over there, you'd book it with the cardboard cutouts.
That's true, yeah. You're gonna have to nail those down.
Yes.
If they still have Yuzuru, I'm going in the back. I'm taking it. Sorry, guys.
Give me all your Yuzurus.
Yuzuru's my son. I can't explain to you how upset I was that he's not a voice synth. He's a voice synth, but he's not a singing vocal.
The sisters made it to Synth V, and that makes me think that Yuzuru will also be on there and be able to sing.
We
As of
need a
right now,
male
I have his
vocal.
VoiceRoid 2, and I really hope he is also going to Synth V or something.
If he is, I'm buying like 9 copies. I have no money,
Fair.
but I'll do it. I got a credit card like a year ago. Okay, I'm a dangerous person now.
He's one of those voices that, like, you look at the character and then you hear the voice and it's like, wait, what? Like, I expected you to be a lot higher pitched.
Like,
Right.
yeah, no, okay, but honestly, can
Like
I just
Pico.
go on the record and say, like, deep male vocals are so underrated in the synth
Yeah.
community.
I agree.
Like, I don't even remember if I talked about this on the stream last time. I can't even remember if this was when we were, like, just talking. But I cannot express to you how happy I was when, Qingxian and Mocha's voice got, like, released
Yes.
in concert. And they both just sound amazing.
Yeah.
And they didn't do, like, the super cutesy annoying voice with Mocha. I was so happy.
To be fair, I don't think they ever were planning to, because Yan He's voice was never, like, high. I'm glad it wasn't a girl. I think my biggest thing with Mocha was it wasn't a female for his voice. It's just much more authentic, and it is deeper. I was really happy that it wasn't another Len situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was a rocky road to get Mocha the voice that he has now. But I will say this, that I think that the Chinese Vocaloids are better off for it.
Yeah.
I think Mocha's voice that he has now is better for him than Yunhe's. And we also have Yunhe in addition.
Yeah, I
rocky
completely
road
agree.
to get there, but we ended up better for it.
Yeah.
And we only lost Janyin, Laura, and that other chick, Zing.
Okay, but I miss Laura.
I still think about Laura every day.
Yeah.
It's like an in memoriam. We shall never forget.
Did
Like-
we do everything? I think we did everything.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything.
We did everything!
Yay!
This was a very long episode.
But there was a lot to talk about.
But yeah, it was justified because there was a lot we needed to cover. And we're probably forgetting something, or like, I don't even know. We might be forgetting something because there's just so much that went down.
It all happened in like the span of a week, and we're all just like, can we remember all of this? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did anybody remember Sweet Anne Vocaloid 6?
Vocaloid 6. Just kidding. Vocaloid 6 does not exist.
It will
But-
never exist.
Yeah. Bottom line is, I am very upset that Yamaha owns Mew.
Oh, I know.
Right.
I
Mew
know.
is cursed with the Yamaha Vocaloid curse. She is stuck there. I have gone off on Twitter. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go off here for a second. Oh my god. Okay. Mew, and I'll even broaden it to Sachiko because I love Sachiko to absolute pieces. And to whatever degree Gallico counts as a Yamaha
And
Vocaloid,
Zola.
because I also love her to pieces because she's a little iffy. But like, they have the Yamaha Vocaloid curse.
No.
And I think they would sound so good in Synth V and or Chevio. And I'm just like, why can't they have this? Why do they have to have the Yamaha Vocaloid curse?
Yukio and
I
Will,
know
too.
it can't be Mew specifically, and I know Vocaloid stuff can be weird, but Mew Sakamoto, if you want to give the biggest middle finger to Yamaha and just record a new voice for Synth V and or Chevio, go for it.
Please.
Friggin' go for it.
Can Gynoid like
Adopt
do
her?
do
Can be
pull
rescued?
Pull a flower where they bought flower from Yamaha and like buy all the Yamaha Vocaloids, please.
Gynoid and or V-Singer need to stage a joint intervention, and they just need to call CPS. They need to get all these babies out of there and give them a better life.
Please.
This is a great segue because I actually wanted to mention this. So I will say that as of right now recording this, it's still a little bit in the works and I haven't structured everything perfectly yet. So I'm sorry. And if it's still that way when this episode is when this episode is put up, I'm extra sorry. It's been weird. But I am trying to do a collaboration with the community that will be released on October 21st, 2021, and I've started putting it together now. And it is a combo Muniversary and V3 celebration. Basically, the Mew celebration, the Muniversary part of it, is that I'm going to try and get producers, artists, video makers together and sort of just make like an album. And I'm also gonna try and talk to people who made like classic Mew songs at Dixie Flatline. If you're out there, please talk to me. But like, to put like an album together to be like celebrating her for her 10th anniversary on October 21st of this year.
Somebody do
And
an EDM
because Mew
remix
is-
of Line. Somebody get UtaUtaU on the phone, and somebody do an EDM remix of Line, the best demo of all time ever.
Yes.
Right. Flying is so good. It jams so hard. Sorry. And then because by the nature of Mew being Yamaha's release Vocaloid 3 voice bank, October 21st of this year is also the V3 Engine's 10th anniversary.
Right.
And what I'm trying to do for that one is I'm trying to get members of the community together to draw all of the Vocaloid 3 releases in like a walking, running pose in the leftward direction.
Yay.
And sort of just like put them all behind each other from like Mew to Ling, because Ling was the last Vocaloid 3 release. And just be like, this was the V3 era. We had the most things in the V3 era. It was wonderful. Why can't we come back? Vocaloid 5, why can't you be this?
Right.
But,
I've got
that
a
is-
jab. Hold on. First of all, you're stealing my thunder. I already did that. And now you have the audacity to come into my house.
No,
And also,
Okay.
hold on. CU has to be at the front. I don't care how much you like it. CU is. I'm just kidding.
Okay, see you. I think in terms of like the actual time of day, I'm pretty sure she was the second one, so she can be like chilling on Mew's shoulder. Like,
Oh,
right
so
Yay.
cute. Yeah, I thought they were released on the same day.
they were released on the
Yeah.
same day. It was.
Oh, technically, CU's official birthday is August 30th, so she's...
It was-
Just kidding.
Mew. I'm trying to remember all of them off the top of my
Mew,
head.
CU.
Mew, CU, Gumi V3, VY1 V3.
And then the December chaos struck.
I think Rion was day one.
No,
Hold
Rion
on,
was
let me
like
check.
December 10th. No, 3rd.
Was Rion before or after Oliver?
Oh, I think before. Don't quote me on that. But I know
Yeah,
it
she's
was
in December.
Rion and or Oliver. And then Yukari and Cool came out on the same day.
Yeah, hold on.
And Cool got taken for a ride by Yukari because there was no competing with Yukari.
I mean, that's fair.
That's true. Unfortunately.
Wasn't Oliver
Yeah, okay.
December 11th or something like that?
Yeah, I got all of them. The day one releases were Mew, VY1, V3, Gumi V3, and CU.
Wow. That was humongous.
A lot in one day. That's for sure.
It was a lot
We don't
in one
see
day.
it anymore.
No,
For
you
sure.
really don't. V3 was peak Vocaloid, honestly.
Yeah.
It really was.
It may not have produced the best vocals, but it was. I mean, that was just the
most things
definitive
happening.
Vocaloid era. It was just all them trying the new things and bringing in more communities was
Yeah.
very big. It still feels new to me, honestly.
Oh, yeah. No, also, I've completely forgot to mention, if you want to be part of one or both of these things, they're technically happening, like, simultaneously as a part of each other. But you can do one or both. The Twitter tag for this is Muniversary. It's like anniversary, but Mew instead of the A. And you can send a little DM and be like, hey, I want to be part of Muniversary and or the V3 collab. And I'll be like, okay, here's the Discord link. And you will be part of the collab. And we will get things a-going pretty soon.
I'm excited.
Thank you for talking about Mew, because I intended to do that today and almost completely forgot.
Yay. Of course. And just a little side note, or well, not side note, but I'm just gonna say I am part of the Muniversary.
Me too.
Yay! I'm so excited.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
amazing.
so good. So please remember.
Basically,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Please remember to look forward for that. I'm very excited. Mew deserves all the best ever.
It's true.
You deserves the universe.
It's true.
Yeah.
The Muniverse.
Exactly.
The Muniverse. Yeah.
The world might belong to Hatsune Miku, but the universe belongs to Mew.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure the universe belongs to Uni.
Oh no.
Hey, listen.
Here we go
listen,
again.
Listen.
Mew is our god. Mew is our god. She owns everything else. She is above everything else. Mew walked so the rest of Vocaloid could run. And for that we owe her
did, though.
everything.
Okay, at around this point, the audio is lost, but what I was basically gonna say, we were basically wrapping up anyways. What I was gonna say is that this is the second episode, obviously. We're still a work in progress. We were thinking about having a Q&A session maybe next episode. So on Twitter, we'll put out a tweet saying, like, ask us some questions about, like, maybe, like, preferences or, like, what we like or anything really. We'll answer it on the next episode. So look out for that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know this is a long episode. Episodes probably won't be this long. It's just that we had a lot to cover. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.